After spending some time with it, I thought it might be helpful to share what I have noticed so far, in plain, practical terms, from actually living with it. This is a one-piece toilet, so the tank and bowl are all one solid unit. The reason that matters is not because it sounds fancy, but because it changes how it looks and how it cleans. If you are the person who gets annoyed by dust and grime building up in seams and little edges, this style helps. It is also a good fit if you care more about having a toilet that just works every day without drama than you care about chasing the lowest water number on a label. What made me interested in this one was the flush system. I have dealt with toilets that look fine but clog easily, or need a second flush more often than I want to admit. This one is built around moving water quickly through a larger flush opening than what I was used to. In normal use, that shows up as fewer clogs and fewer repeat flushes. That is the main reason I have been happy with it. Visually, it is simple and clean looking. The white finish has a glossy look that still wipes down easily. The one-piece body gives it a smooth, continuous shape, and over time I have noticed that matters more than I expected. There are fewer little corners where you end up scrubbing harder, especially around the base of the tank area. It is not a magic surface that never gets dirty, but it is easier to keep looking respectable with quick, regular cleaning. The bowl on mine is the elongated style, meaning the seat opening is a bit longer front to back. In real life, it just feels less cramped, especially for adults. The height also feels more like sitting down on a normal chair than dropping down low. For me, that is easier on my knees, and it is more comfortable for day-to-day use. If you have very small kids in the house, that extra height can be a little too tall at first. I saw that in my own home. They could use it, but they needed help or a step stool until they got used to it. Build quality feels solid. This is not a light toilet. When it came time to install it, the weight was the first thing that got my attention. Moving a one-piece toilet is awkward because you cannot separate the tank and bowl, so it is one big heavy shape. I would not personally want to carry it and position it alone. With two people it is manageable, but you still have to take your time and be careful not to bump the porcelain on anything hard. Once it is down and seated, it feels stable, and I have not had any rocking or shifting. Setup itself is pretty typical for a toilet, but the weight changes the experience. Getting the wax ring lined up and lowering the toilet straight down takes patience. If you have installed toilets before, you will know the feeling of trying not to smear the seal while also not crushing your fingers. This one is that same situation, just heavier. After it was installed and tightened down, it was basically done. I did not have to keep tweaking it over the next few weeks, which I appreciate. Daily use is where this model earns its keep. The flush is strong and quick. The way I would describe it is that it clears the bowl decisively. In my home, I have used it for years, with normal family use, and I can honestly say clogs have been rare. I am not saying it is impossible to clog, because anything can clog if you push your luck. But I do not get those frustrating, repeated backups that I have had with weaker toilets. I also do not find myself doing the double flush thing. That matters because it is not just annoying, it also wastes water and time. On the topic of water use, this one uses 1.6 gallons per flush. In real terms, I do not think about that number day to day. What I do notice is that it uses enough water to do the job in one go, which is what I want. I would rather have one clean, complete flush than a toilet that technically uses less water but needs extra flushing to get there anyway. The flush handle is fine, but it does need a more deliberate push than some toilets. It is not hard for me, but it is something I noticed. If you have someone in your house with weaker hands, or you have younger kids trying to flush on their own, they may need an extra little push. It is not a deal breaker, just a real detail that shows up in daily use. The seat that came with mine fit properly and looked fine, and I liked that it was a slow, close seat. It is a small quality of life thing, but it matters at night when you do not want a loud slam. Over time, I did end up swapping the seat. The included seat worked, but it felt a bit thin compared to what I personally prefer. That is not a big problem because seats are easy to change, but I want to be honest about it because you might feel the same way. Cleaning has been straightforward. Because it is one piece, I spend less time trying to reach behind the tank area, and I spend less time fighting grime and seams. I still clean it like any other toilet, but it feels like less effort for the same result. Over the years, I have also had fewer issues with stains hanging on. I'm not claiming it stays perfect on its own, but it does not seem to hold onto discoloration as stubbornly as some older toilets I have owned. As far as reliability, mine has been the kind of toilet I forget about, in a good way. I have replaced a small internal part after a long stretch of use, and that did not surprise me. Toilets are mechanical, and seals and moving parts wear eventually. The important part is that it did not need constant attention, and it was not an ongoing project. It was more like normal long-term maintenance rather than a recurring problem. One more thing I want to mention is sound. The flush is not silent. You can hear the rush of water because it moves a lot of water quickly. It is not an unpleasant sound, but if you are coming from a very gentle, quiet toilet, you will notice it. The refill after flushing is normal. Nothing about it has bothered me, but I think it is worth saying out loud. So overall, after living with the American Standard Champion for one-piece toilet, my impression is that it is a practical choice for someone who wants a comfortable seat height, easier cleaning, and a toilet that is less likely to clog in normal family use. The biggest drawback in my experience is the installation because of the weight, and the included seat may not be everyone's favorite long-term. The flush handle also needs a firm push. There are no smart features here and there is no mobile app. Personally, I do not want an app for my toilet, and I like that this is simple. It is porcelain, water, and mechanical parts that you can understand and service without needing a phone. If you have been dealing with a toilet that clogs a lot, or you just want something that feels solid, comfortable, and easy to keep clean, this one has been dependable for me. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your experience or any questions you want me to answer. Thank you for watching.